Another huge, obviously socially meaningful, socially constructed category in our society is race, right? And race is a social construct with tremendous consequences both historically and today. Yes, absolutely. And early on, there race was a pseudo-scientific category, meaning it was tried to be established using quote unquote science, and this idea that there was like these different breeds of men and human beings, and that some were who was considered superior and who was considered inferior, right? It The people coming up with it, of course, made white people the superior quote unquote race, and then non-white peoples were listed as inferior, right? And they try to use science to justify this. And so even today, right, race is very historically meaningful. But come to find out, there aren't any meaningful distinctions in our DNA between races. It's socially meaningful differences of hair texture and skin color and facial features, right? They're really kind of arbitrary, but are socially meaningful in our society. So the historical construction of race, yeah, it was based on a notion of white superiority, that white people were superior and all the races were inferior. It was a right, race as a pervasive social category. So religion, science, law, all have assumptions about race, and the ideas about race. This is a video that connects to show how Thomas Jefferson, right, the guy who wrote that all men are created equal, believed in the superiority of white people, right, and he owned slaves, right. At the same time that he was articulating that all people are created equal, right? And so, what do you do? What do we mean by that, right? What did he mean by that? And what he was going about saying was that in essence, people of color aren't people, right? And that this notion is at the core of our founding as a nation. And then at the same time, it unpacks how he had an affair with one of his slaves, Sally Hemings, and sort of the contradictions inherent in that, at the same time he's articulating that all men are created equal, he's owning other people, right? And how it just really kind of gets at the irony of race in particularly in the American context, in the U.S. American context. But race has tremendous social construction, right? Tremendous consequences, right? For how the police interactions, right? Who you're more likely to be harmed by the police. How much the price of your home, right? Where you live, the education that you got, all of these things, right, are connected to race. And so it's a very meaningful social category in our society, obviously.